Hey, what's up guys? Alex here. So back with the last video on the World Hotel Championship 2024. So this is actually for round 13 and also the kind of closure around the whole event. So just a quick recap here is that basically I kind of went on an incredible run in the World Hotel Championship 2024. Um, my own personal best was actually 8 wins at any given WOC, and the long-standing record of Singapore, not counting Suikuni Makoto, who is actually a Japanese native who represented Singapore back in 2006. The long-standing record was actually 8.5 wins by my younger brother. So that was since 2016. So this being in 2024 came as an amazing surprise because going into the tournament, I did expect only maybe 8 wins, and then if I was lucky, maybe 9 wins with a top 8 position. So having the 9 wins at the end of round 11 kind of just shocked me because I managed to defeat my idol Takanashi Yusuke in round 11, a 5-time world champion. And in round 12, I had a huge plus 38 lead and I didn't manage to convert it. So I lost it, but at the same time, I did have the experience in 2019 World Hotel Championship where I did have a outside opportunity to kind of squeeze into a playoff for the semifinal spot. Had I kind of gone on to won round 12 and round 13, and even for round 12 when I was up against Takanashi Yusuke, I had a huge win line in 2019. So, but eventually I lost that round. So and I went on tilt. So this time around, I told myself that having that experience made me learn not to go on tilt. But at the same time, I was facing the second best player from China, who is extremely strong as well, Zhouzi. So the funny thing is that when I look at this retrospectively, I didn't realize the impact of this game as much because I was kind of too fixated on my individual wins and potential accolades and trying to strive for the semifinal spot that I didn't realize that even for team implications it was huge. So this was actually the team standings end of round 11. Japan 27 wins, which it's very clear where Japan would stand. They would usually just kind of run off with the champion title, and yet at the end of round 11, it was amazing to kind of see Singapore on the top because I kind of expected going into this tournament that Singapore might be fourth or fifth in terms of the team. So being able to be in that privileged position of second place and even ahead of China for 1.5 points, that was just simply amazing for me to kind of see. So looking at round 12, how after I lost emphatically to Joanna William, when I was leading up by so much, and unfortunately in that round, my brother also kind of lost to Song Yan from China. So in the end, China kind of leapfrogged us from losing 1.5 to leading at 1 point. Just kind of looking retrospectively, I didn't realize that Hong Kong was actually very close behind us with 23. Only just a half-point difference. So round 13, just going into it, was actually extremely critical for us, even on the team championship level, just to kind of try to fight for second or third place. And very aptly, I was paired against China, my brother was paired against China, and Song Yan, the top Chinese, was paired against the eventual champion. So China was really fighting very hard just to kind of get team second place, which they eventually did. If you can see here, Japan 32 wins, clear-cut winner of the team tournament title because the top 3 individuals are Japanese, and China just kind of edging Hong Kong and Singapore at 26, and Hong Kong and Singapore tied at 25. So what eventually happened was that the implication of me losing round 12 and round 13 kind of placed me from an original 3rd position, individual position, to 8th position, even though I did kind of achieve my goal of 9 wins and a top 8 position. Eventually, Lee Chun-wan from Hong Kong, who I actually beat in round 7, actually kind of leapfrogged me with a very steadfast and steady kind of approach to kind of winning back the game. So he did leapfrog me just by 11 Brightwell tiebreaker points and became 6th place. So with the individual ranking, basically Hong Kong was able to secure a team 3rd place, and Singapore kind of just narrowly lost out by tiebreaker to get 4th. So yeah, basically no trophy for Singapore this time, even though we did have one in 2016, a very nice crystal medal from Japan. yeah, so just want to go back to the game of round 13 just to kind of talk through it before we kind of close for the whole event. Before I played this game, I was just thinking, since I was black and Zhouzi was white, and I think he plays perpendicular, I just wanted to just play the first move and see where he plays. And he did play perpendicular. So over here I did spend like, I think I spent 3 to 5 minutes just thinking where to play, which opening to play. Eventually I kind of landed on Shaman because more recently I've been playing Shaman a lot. And I did feel that it would be more poetic to kind of go out, go big or go small with Shaman. And I did have the success with the Japanese kid. But I think unfortunately Zhouzi was pretty much prepared for Shaman, so in the end I did have a very tough time just trying to get an itch. The game was pretty even from the start to the mid, but I think thereafter I made a mistake in the mid and then eventually I couldn't recover. So basically this is the standard Shaman sequence for the book opening, and up to here I think it's all book, and Zhouzi seemed to play pretty fast, so he seems to know the book pretty well. So up to this point it's all book. So this was the kind of first variation that he made in move 18, c7. So this one, it's something that I'm not as familiar with, but I think I still managed to connect with the best move with f5 just to general centralize. So the key feature of Shaman opening is actually about centralizing. So it wouldn't be too hard to kind of derive the move. In a way, it's easier for somebody like me to kind of derive. When white touched the edge and I played e1 pretty confidently, because for Shaman basically I was sitting opposite this orientation, and over here you want to kind of just defend this edge at the same time for most of the Shaman situations. So over here I did miss one key move, which I think was a5, which I could just continuously control this mini diagonal between f2 square and b6 square. So this is something that I missed. What I did do was to kind of play a6 that give white an opportunity to kind of cut into the center as well. So that wasn't too great. When this was played out, a6, a5, I knew that I probably made a blunder over there. Not too big, but enough to kind of shake me a little. Thinking that why didn't I play a5? But yeah, so this actually gave white the opportunity to kind of jump in to the middle. So I didn't really want to surrender this edge, because if I just played this, white could just take 2 moves. White could just control this mini diagonal where I didn't have access. So it wouldn't be too great, so I just jumped into b6. I think the follow-up here was actually fine on my part, and just grabbed the interior here. So what I didn't realize was that after I played this, it was quite an obvious response to g4. So it wasn't too difficult for white to find it as well. So over here, I think I was able to connect here to play f2. I think thereafter, when white played this easy cut and split move to kind of split out g3 and g6, that is a very nice move as well for white to kind of split out, which is expected for the second best representative from China, who's always been well known to pick up top 3 championship titles, and then in terms of the team titles. So over here I played g3. I don't think g3 was a mistake. So up to this point both of us were playing fairly perfect, with the exception of me missing a5. I think both of us were playing fairly well. So over here I did have a bit of a dilemma between choosing h3, closing off f1, and maybe even preventing at f7. So I kind of weighed a bit wrongly, in the sense that when I considered if I needed to defend f1, I thought that if white played f1 in the future, I could still cover with g1 and I would still have a spare move to b1 in the future. And given that I have control of this mini diagonal, there wasn't any rush for me to kind of immediately defend for like an a3, a2 situation whereby he might wedge at b2, because I have this control. So it'll still be a clean edge. So over here I did think for a minute that if I played h3 here, he could take f1. So I thought that why not I just play f7 to kind of block f1 for a moment, and after he commits to h3, I would then kind of go for f1. So in Othello, in mid-game, typically what you want to do is only cover a spot when your opponent has kind of chased it. If you have the opportunity to kind of prevent it for a while, you can do it. But in this case, I actually missed something very critical, and that was what exactly happened. So when I played f7 thinking that the sequence should be, f7, h3, and f1, I was a bit naive of thinking through this sequence, and I was even thinking that if he goes f8, I could just kind of simply close out, and I would still have the opportunity to kind of break to the bottom once he plays any of these moves. If he plays here, I could still go here. I didn't think I was in a bad position. I did think that I was in control for a while, but until when I miss that, he could basically play g1, and then I realized that, oh, I made a very big mistake. I forgot that he could play g1. So g1 basically breaks the shape excuse me, of me grabbing f1, and at the same time stops me from taking h3 in a very nice way, because this play out over here will be h3, h5, and then I'll be in a tough situation, maybe h4, h6, and I'll be forced to kind of grab the unbalanced edge. It doesn't seem like a very big problem here, but over here it gives me extreme pressure because white is still in control of the tempo. White could easily go to e7 or even go to a diagonal control and make me in a tough position, and even if I did do this, it's a clean move for white to c8, and in the future when I played this would then become a poison move whereby he could just give up the corner, and this exchange would benefit him extremely well. So definitely a very big slip up on my part for kind of missing that he could play g1. And then this kind of put me in a very tough spot, but I was kind of forced to play h3. I don't think I made very huge negative moves here, but over here I did think that instead of commenting to what I just talked about, I would just kind of skip that part and just go to b1 and maybe hope that he plays this so that once I grab the edge, I'll still have two tempos over here. So interestingly enough, he didn't do that, and he played very firmly to e8, and thereafter I did think that I was in trouble because of this solid edge. He was actually weaving through this mid-game shape very well. So basically I had a few options here, right? If I would have played d8 and he just simply went in either b7 or e7, I would still be in a very tough position because all my moves are pretty much poison, and I'll still be in the same shape. And if I did play this, given that there are no white discs along this mini diagonal, even if he just responded, there could be a chance. Well, I guess he probably wouldn't respond here, because if I played this, he would be forced to kind of respond here, so he wouldn't do that. He would simply just probably play to the inner side. He could either play b7 or he could just simply play e7, and it would still be a very good position for him, even though I could get this. So thereafter, I did play to f8, just hoping for a response, but I was very surprised when he picked up c8. So I think c8 was actually a very nice move from him to kind of keep the flow towards just kind of going towards the center. And at the same time, he retains this g5 disc to approach it. So I did think for a minute that I could potentially prevent it, but he could simply just jump into h4. And this h4 disc would not be removable, and he would still have the same edge towards the approach. So basically an inevitable approach towards d8 to kind of give up the edge. So over here I thought that instead of allowing that to happen, I'll just keep this as my tempo and I'll just go in. And then thereafter, when he grabbed it, I thought I'll just pick up the edge and I could still hang on. But what I didn't realize was that after I played this move, he could just simply play h2, and even if I did play a floating stoner, this was too weak a side. So at this point in time, I did realize that I think I basically have lost the game. So what happened was I played this stoner trap pretty quickly because I know that was my only choice, just hoping for a mistake. But obviously, this game mattered too much to China, and at the same time, he was a very clutch player. So once white played a3, I knew this game was lost. I just did a brief count and I knew that I probably lost like 12 to 14 discs. What I didn't really want here was to have this tournament end because it was such a great tournament. It was greatly organized by the China Hotel Federation together with World Hotel Federation, and then also with great sponsors and great company. I didn't really want the tournament to end here, knowing that, I could have been in the semifinals, but yet I've lost it at this round, at the round 13. And given that I had wasted and blew round 12, it was extremely emotional point for me here. So I did tell my opponent that just give me a moment, and I just kind of spent maybe 2 minutes just kind of enjoying the moment that just the chance to kind of play at the World Title Championship, catch up with old friends, and I was so happy to just be there. So even if I didn't end up in the semifinals, I was still extremely happy with whatever result that I would end up with. I was just extremely lucky that it ended up with an eighth place medal. And I did want to thank all the sponsors, organizers, supporters, and my teammates. Yeah, in my mind, I was basically just thanking them. And yeah, basically the follow up was quite a standard wrap up end game. I don't think there were too many mistakes, but basically parity was secured. So I did want to thank everyone who supported me, including the folks back in Singapore who's made it possible, and everyone who supported me online. And yeah, basically it was a very tough tournament for me. In terms of emotions, it was more like a roller coaster. I went to quickly a very high point where I had a huge opportunity to enter semifinals, and then thereafter kind of fell back in the last two rounds, losing to opponents who I probably should not have lost to, at least for round 12 for sure. But I do still want to thank Joanna for kind of reminding me that I guess every win in Othello is independent. Every game is independent of one another. Even if you did have the positive momentum in a win streak, every game is independent. And every move is independent. You just have to kind of not let up and just keep on being persistent and patient, and just working hard at your goals. Just kind of make sure that you earn every single thing that you want in terms of achievements. Yeah, so to whoever it may mean to for all these messages, including the future self, when I look back at this video, maybe 5 years from now, or maybe 4 years from now, when I'm attending another World Title Championship, I do want to kind of tell myself, you did well this time around, but just never give up and always be patient. Always treat every single game and every single opponent with the same caution, this kind of same level that you would have at, be it as a challenger or as a favorite going into the game. Just play your best in every single game and move. So yeah, that's basically a wrap on the World Title Championship 2024. I know that this video is probably going to release in 2025, so hopefully by then I would have gotten over this kind of grief in a way. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me, and yeah, I look forward to seeing everyone again at the next World Title Championship that I'm joining. So until then, just keep working hard, keep on playing hard, and yeah, hopefully we'll meet. Thank you. Goodbye.